Okay, so we had a look at how we can create a subset of data using the filter function. Now we're going to look at related. So here it says this function returns a related value from another table. So basically what this function does, it uses the relationships that are defined in the model to pull through data from another table. So if you know Excel and you know what a VLOOKUP or an XLOOKUP is, you have a relationship between two data sets and you can pull fields from the other data set into the data set that you're doing the formula in. So if we were looking here, if we go from here in our sales table, we could use the related function to pull the product name, or we could use, related to pull occupation or gender, or we could pull through month, for instance. So although there already is a relationship, and Power BI is quite clever to automatically pull through the related information, even if you had a complicated query, you could use related to make sure that it pulls it through correctly. So what we'll do, we'll go take a look at that now. So if we go to our measures, I'm going to do related example. Okay, so if, say for instance, we wanted to count the number of rows in our sales table that were related to male customers and they were for the clothing product category. So let's try that. So we want to do count rows. Sometimes Power BI can be a bit weird and not bring up the automatic prompting. There we go. So we want to do count rows. And we want to use a filter on our sales table. So I'm going to show you now. We've learned how to do filter, so we're going to incorporate filter here. We're going to filter our sales table. And we want to filter our sales table for the first filter, we want to pull through only the related sales for male customers. So what we can do, we can use our related function. So we're going to use the relationship between the sales and the customer table to pull through the gender. So that's what we're saying here. We're saying count the rows in the sales table, but we want to filter the sales table to only pull through the related gender information. And we have gender ID in our sales table, but we actually want to use the word male. So we need to go to this table to get that text of the word male back. So we got gender. We're going to say that must equal to male. Make sure that it's spelled correct. And if you want to do two, you can use these two ampersands. That means and, so it will apply both filters. And we want to pull the related. Again, we can push tab. And we said products, so we need product category. There we go. And we want that product category to equal clothing. And we want to close our brackets. And you can always see if you have enough brackets because it will highlight the related bracket there. So we need another one. You can see that's all the way back to the front here. And we can hit enter and let's see if we got it right. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it in a table. I'm going to grab gender and I'm going to grab product category. And we're saying that we have 440 transactions where it was male and clothing product category. So let's double check that. We grab a new table. I'm going to grab product category, gender, and I'm going to grab our count rows from here because that included all. And if we look at clothing, male, they're 440. So our measure is correct. So that is an example of how we can use related. Another way to use related is you can do it as a calculated column. So for instance, if we were looking at our sales table, and for whatever reason, we wanted to show the product category, the actual text for the product category. We know that the product ID, let's go back to our model. The product ID relates to the product ID in the product table, and from that we can get the product category. So even as a calculated column, you can use the related function. So here we can say product category, say text. We can go through here and go related. We can choose the column. We want the product category. And we can push enter. And there you can see it pulls through the text. So for instance, if we were using a little filtered table looking at a subset of data and we wanted to pull through the actual text and not use the IDs, we could do it in this way by using related. So it's quite handy. It's quite a handy function. So that is how the related function works. Go back here.